welcome back to the Ask Rebecca radio show. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm happy that you're here, and I'm happy that I'm here too. So it's March now, and I feel like the months and the days are just flying by like crazy. This week for me has just flown by. So with March, there's 5 Thursdays, so I'll be doing 5 shows. And March's theme for me, I felt would be a good topic would be 5 ways to love yourself. So each week I'll discuss a different topic on giving you some tools and techniques on how to actually love yourself. Excuse me, I have a little earbud in here. So with that being said, I just kind of want to recap why it's important to love yourself. You know, loving yourself can make you happier, it can make you more confident, you can be more successful, and it just makes life more enjoyable all around. And, you know, loving yourself is really important because it kind of helps you stop worrying about what everybody else thinks or what everybody thinks about you. You stop worrying about seeking validation outside of yourself. You're not as concerned about, you know, what you're saying or doing. You're more confident within yourself. You're more accepting of yourself, and you are then more inclined to be yourself. So the end result is you walk through life a little more peaceful because you're done worrying about what other people are going to say about you or think about you, or, you know, how they perceive you. Like, who cares? Doesn't matter. You know, they haven't walked a mile in your shoes and you haven't walked a mile in theirs. So there's no need for you to be stressed about what other people think. Also, when you love yourself, you stop people pleasing. You stop doing the things that you really don't want to do. I mean, how many of us will actually, you know, a friend asks you to help them move, you really don't feel like it, or, you know, your mom wants you to come over, but you really don't feel like it, you're exhausted, you've had a long week, but instead you do it anyway because you're worried about hurting the person's feelings, you're worried about them getting mad at you, and you are dealing with your own guilt when it comes to that. So, you know, again, being more confident with yourself just definitely makes life flow a little bit easier and makes it so much easier than it may be for you now when you're constantly in your head beating yourself up. But we'll get into that in a minute. So also, when you love yourself, you know, we all have fear, but when you're in a space of loving yourself, you feel the fear and you do it anyway because you have faith in yourself, you believe in yourself. And even though something may be really scary, it's not going to stop you, that you have more courage to just move forward in life and not be concerned about, you know, it not working out because of the fear, like holding you back. It's limiting you. It's a limited belief. So also, when you love yourself, it's easier to love others, and it's much easier to receive love from others as well. So now that you kind of have an idea of the importance of self-love, I wanted to give you some guidance in how you can actually achieve it for yourself and some tools to work on. And again, I'm going to give you a different tool each week to kind of help you work your way up to, at minimum, liking yourself. And I know some people may be questioning, you know, what I'm talking about and saying, oh, well, I like myself and, you know, I don't have any issues. I'm not worried. I don't really care what other people think. I was that person, overly confident, maybe a little absorbed, maybe a little bit flamboyant in nature because I was overcompensating based on my own insecurities and the fears that I had about how other people perceived me. So, you know, take a good look at yourself and figure out, do you really like yourself? And I'm pretty sure you probably find a couple of things that you may not like too much about yourself. Anyway, so to me, the first step in actually loving yourself, to me, is the most difficult and the most challenging step, and that is forgiving yourself. And forgiveness is, it's a tough one. especially to forgive ourselves. So, we have the guilt, we have shame, and we've got all these pent up feelings and emotions within ourselves, and we beat ourselves up over and over and over again, and we like to punish ourselves by staying miserable on some level because we're mad at ourselves because we feel like we haven't done something properly. And I'll go over some things that you can look at within yourself to see what you may need to forgive yourself for. But when we're upset with ourselves and we don't like ourselves, we really do need to find a place of forgiveness and let go of some of the emotions that we suppress and repress. And a lot of times we're even in denial about the fact that we need to forgive ourselves about something. And if you don't, those emotions become stuck inside of you. And, they will literally physically make you sick. It's very much like stress. If you're carrying these burdens around on your shoulders, in your chest, in your heart, in your soul, it weighs you down. It's depressing. There's just so many things that it limits you from doing, and it limits you from going out and experiencing life. So, forgiveness is just a tool. And how do you forgive yourself? First, you really need to dig into your subconscious and basically get real with yourself. You need to just confront what you feel you have done wrong or what mistakes you've made in your life, and you need to just forgive yourself. So, to figure out what you need to forgive, you can take a look at, ask yourself, did you fail at something big in life? Meaning, did you fail at a career? You went to college and you studied to be this amazing engineer, and then you decided, I don't like it, or I suck at it and I don't want to do this. So now you look at yourself as a failure. Maybe you've had some failed relationships, you've experienced a divorce or something. So that could be one thing where you feel that you failed something big in life. Another question to ask yourself is, did your actions hurt someone else? Maybe you did something, you called someone a name, or you betrayed someone's trust, or, anything where your actions contributed to actually hurting someone else. Now, in the same breath, did you hurt yourself through your own actions? And by that, I mean, maybe you drink a little too much, maybe you're taking drugs to numb some feelings that you don't want to feel. Maybe you're doing other self-destructive behaviors that are self-sabotaging in a way. And a lot of those are connected to something that you need to forgive yourself about. And then lastly, it could be you're beating yourself up about something you thought you should be doing, whether you thought, oh, well, I should have been saving money, or I should have been helping someone out, or I should have done this. These are all different topics that you can take a look at and see if it's affecting you in some way. Make a list. So once you've actually figured out what you need to forgive, and sit with yourself, either write it down in a notebook, share it with someone, whatever the case is. Once you figure out what you need to forgive within yourself, then you need to express it and you need to feel it. And, the feeling aspect of it is important, and the expression aspect of it is important, because it really needs to come up and out of you. So figure out what tool works best for you, whether it's, again, someone you trust, you can vent. You're not alone. You're not alone. Trust me, there's tons of people out there in the world that have made some choices that weren't in their best interest or in someone else's best interest. We're all only human. We're all the same. We make mistakes. We make bad choices. We're only ever doing what we can in the moment. And, you need to just be okay with that. You need to just love yourself and be okay. And just because you forgive yourself doesn't mean you're giving some free pass. It's a learning tool. You don't need to forget, but you need to forgive and let it go and move on. And one of the tools that I personally used and that worked really, really well for me, and I feel I'm a very private person, so it's very difficult for me to actually share my feelings and express things to other people. So this whole show is like really tough for me. But one of the things that I did is I just knew that I had a lot of self-hatred, and I didn't understand where it was coming from. Because, a person from the outside looking in would look at my life and go, well, how does she even really hate herself? Like, how could she? So what I did is I sat down in front of a mirror and I just looked at myself in the eyes, and I just started getting real with myself and just said, you know what? I hate you. You're a bad mother. You did this. And I just started spewing all these false beliefs and all these things that I thought were true and real about me. And the more that I just let go and release, the harder I was crying, doing the whole ugly cry and just complete insanity. It got to the point where I'm like literally yelling at myself. And then once I got it all out, man, it was the biggest release and the most amazing feeling. The next day, it was a completely new reality for me. Like all of that pain and suffering that I held on to, I finally got it out and let it go. And, it was the most amazing experience. So I highly recommend trying that. But again, every person is different. So use whatever tool that feels best for you. But either way, once you acknowledge your mistakes, you forgive yourself, you accept that you're a human being, and you let it go, then you can move on in your life. And another tool with the whole forgiveness thing is to look at yourself and let go of unrealistic expectations you have for yourself. I mean, most of us hold ourselves to this standard that no one could possibly live up to, much less anybody in your life or yourself. We have a tendency to get stuck in our head and beat ourselves up, and we tell ourselves the same thing over and over again. You should have did this. And, it's really about being conscious of what you're thinking and what you're feeling and what you're experiencing. So it takes a little bit of self-awareness, but you have to stop dwelling. So one of the exercises that you can do when you're stuck in your head is to, one, just stop. Become aware that you're thinking. Stop telling yourself that you're a horrible human being. Take a couple of deep breaths, right? Take the tip of your tongue and place it on the roof of your mouth directly behind your teeth, and then breathe in and out through your nose, and actually focus your attention and awareness on what you're doing and how you're breathing. And I promise you, you will not be able, it's nearly impossible to actually think other thoughts while you're doing this technique. And that creates some space in what's going on in your head. And the more you do that, so if you have to do it 1,000,000 times a day because you're constantly in your head, then do it 1,000,000 times a day and stop yourself, because you'll be very glad that you did. It creates some space in your head space. It creates some peace for you. And the more that you do it, the next thing you know, that repetitious voice in your head will stop. And that's a beautiful experience. So another technique that you can do once you acknowledge what you feel you need to forgive yourself about is make amends. Maybe you're feeling guided to make amends. Say sorry to yourself. Say sorry to whoever you feel you hurt. If you want to apologize, great. If you don't want to apologize, that's okay too. It's not necessary. You need to do what you feel guided to do, and that's going to make you feel whole and complete within yourself. And sometimes you could even just right the wrong, whether, you felt like you didn't help somebody out in their time of need. Okay, the next time the time of need rolls around, help out. Like, it's not a big deal. You've got to just move past these things. Everything serves a purpose. Life is a series of choices. That's what you're here to do. You're here to make choices. You're here to learn how to love yourself. You're here to learn how to love others and move into deeper states of peace and expand your consciousness. And, I won't get all spiritual and crazy on you, but bottom line is you get to choose how you feel. You choose what you think about. So choose differently. just choose differently. And today, choose to forgive yourself and move on from the past. Let's just let it go and move on from the past. So I hope that gives you some help. Sorry if I rambled, tend to do that sometime, but we do have a caller on the line, and I believe, let me put this earpiece in so that I can hear her better. Jennifer from California, is that right?
Yes.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine. You?
I'm doing well. So I'm hoping you have specific questions for me. I did kind of connect with your energy beforehand, and I feel like there's a feeling of like unfairness or unjust, like maybe you're feeling like you're being treated unfairly, or there's some feelings of injustice in some way. I do feel like maybe I do feel like maybe you're angry about something.
Yes.
Okay.
My husband walked out on me. He was in the military, and he got out without me knowing, and I haven't heard from him since. And April will be a year, and I have no clue where he's at. He's contacted me 0 times. I've tried to get a hold of him through his family and friends, and they won't tell me where he's at. And our divorce is considered null and void.
Because you aren't able to find him. Okay, yes. So, what I feel surrounding this situation is, unfortunately, you're dealing with the results of someone else's actions and karma. And that was exactly what I had written down for you, actually. And you can't blame yourself, because right now I feel like you're in a state of blaming yourself. And unfortunately, what I kind of feel is you're really going to have to take a step back and be patient, because to me, I don't feel like this is going to be resolved this year. I feel like, I'm sorry. To me, it feels like he's going through some serious, what I would consider PTSD. I feel like he's got some mental things that are going on in his head right now. And this does not have anything to do with you. This is all about him. I feel like there's a lot of fears that are going through him. I feel like he doesn't even know how he would be in a relationship with you anymore. He is not the same person that you fell in love with. And I feel that you really don't have any control over this situation at all. Wow. Let me just see if I can pick up on a projected timeline of when I feel like this could actually work out.
Okay.
Okay, so I feel like it's an odd feeling to me, because I almost feel like he's not going to resurface and connect with you, but I do feel like you will get the divorce. But I feel like that will be early next year, somewhere right around the time frame we're in now. To me, it feels more January. By February, I feel like it will be resolved. To me, I do believe you will hear about him, but through other people. And I don't know. I feel like he might end up going into some sort of treatment, or I don't know. He feels very isolated to me. You don't know anything about him right now. Have you you've spoken with his family at all, or anybody else?
I tried, and they won't help me whatsoever.
Yeah, I feel...
They'll hang up on me and everything.
Yeah, I do feel like they know where he's at. So I do feel like they know where he's at, but to me, there feels like there's some drama there too. I don't know, did they, for whatever reason, like I feel like there's some anger directed towards you as well. with them? Were there some incidences throughout the time that he was gone where there were some misperceptions happening with you and them? And I don't know. To me, it feels like there's something else going on besides.
Yeah, I never met them, and they never truly cared for me. You know, I tried to extend my hand and would push it away.
Yeah. Yeah. So to me, it feels again like it. So I feel like you both have the same argument. So even though I felt like there were times you opened yourself up to them, I do feel like there were also times where you were really shut down yourself and, closed off. And when that happened, I feel like they placed a judgment on you. And I also feel like there was like trust issues around this as well. Could they have been telling him things about you that, I mean, I guess you don't really know, but I feel like you argued with him.
I know there was talk about me.
Yeah, because I feel like they were feeding him information of what they perceived and how they felt, but then he would come back and you guys would argue and fight. So I almost feel like he feels like he was wrong. So I don't know if they were... like it feels like, you know, a cheating bug or something about you being, you know, maybe cheating on him or not being honest. Yeah, and something about money too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Do you know where he's at? Could he be anywhere? Or is it back with his family or anywhere? I don't know where he's at.
Okay, so I don't know that he actually got out. Are you sure he got out of the military?
That's what I was told.
Yeah, I don't know that he actually got out of the military. I feel like he came home and he may be still around wherever he was stationed. Whatever his home base is, it kind of
California.
Feels. Yeah. So to me, I feel like he's in California somewhere. I do feel like he's seen his family and stuff, but I don't believe that he actually got out. So I do feel like you'll get this resolved early next year. You just need to kind of let it go. Right now, you're grasping and you're pushing and you're freaking out. Just go on with your life. Like, let it go, continue to talk, you know, get an attorney, figure out eventually, like, he can only go MIA for so long and then they'll grant the divorce, whether he agrees to or not.
Okay.
I hope that helped you a little bit, Jennifer. I'm really sorry, but I have to go because I talked too much as always.
I'm trying to move on. Is there anyone new coming into my life?
Okay, so the new person is not going to show up until you let go of some of the things that are happening within your life. I feel like you're ready for a new relationship, but you've got some stuff to figure out about what you actually want and what you need in your life before that floodgates opens up for someone else to come in. To me, like a serious relationship, I feel like the end of 2018, in between that time, I could see you dating and having a couple of trial and errors, which I think is good for you to actually get to know yourself and figure out what you want. Because what happens, you get into a relationship and you completely lose yourself and you try to conform to the other person. But I do have to go. If you want to reach out to me, you can shoot me an email at AskRebecca today@gmail.com, and I'll be more than happy to, talk to you.